Merseyside.
And next to a story we've been talking about on the programme already this afternoon, drivers in Scotland are facing a tougher new lower drink drive limit from today. The change means that Scotland now has a much tougher drink drive threshold than here in England, Wales and Northern Ireland. There's no hard and fast amount that you can drink before you drive. It depends on loads of things like your age, your size, when you last ate as well. Also, whether you're a man or a woman. But roughly speaking, they reckon Scotland's new 50 milligram limit means your average man would have to stop at just under a pint of standard strength beer or a regular glass of wine. And a woman will be allowed no more than half a beer or a small glass of wine. So basically, you wouldn't be able to have a pint, so there really isn't any point in drinking at all, really. Safety awareness groups are keen to stress that the best advice is not to drink alcohol at all. Let's get a word with Alison Ashworth, who's the head of motoring law at Runcorn-based Forster Dean Solicitors. Hello, Alison.
Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon to you. So, what do you make of these changes then? Surely this is a good thing, isn't it, if they're getting even tougher on drink drivers?
Well, I agree that it's a good thing to be tough on drink drivers. I think that anything that makes our roads safer is a good thing. However, I don't necessarily agree that reducing the limit is the answer to the problems that we face. In my opinion, this could cause significant issues with people who have gone out the night before and quite responsibly got a taxi home, and then they've gone to sleep, and they've woken up in the morning, and they have no idea how much alcohol is still in their system. And they could then be prosecuted at even a lower level than people are already prosecuted at now. So I think it could cause significant problems because people just don't know how much alcohol is in their system.
But the argument back to that would probably be, well, if you know you've got to drive in the morning, don't drink the night before.
Absolutely, and that's certainly the advice that we are giving out, particularly over the Christmas period. We would suggest that no alcohol the night before was probably the best solution. It's just this grey area in the law at the moment with how much can you drink, how much sleep do you need to have, and by reducing the limit, I think that more and more people are going to be caught out when they, quite innocently got in the car and had no intention of drink driving. They just lacked the awareness of how much alcohol was in their system.
Yeah, the current UK limit, so this is not Scotland, which has changed, but the rest of the UK is 80 milligrams of alcohol per 100 millilitres of blood. It's actually the highest in the world. You're saying that is still an acceptable limit?
Yes, I would say that it's an acceptable limit. I know that Scotland has moved more in line with Europe in terms of lowering that drink drive limit, but I don't necessarily think that that's the answer to the problem. And I think that by reducing it, there would still be a number of rather innocent people caught out the morning after. I think that's a real issue that needs to be addressed, and I think more awareness needs to be raised about the issue of drinking and how long it takes to leave the system. And I think that more people should certainly avoid alcohol altogether the night before.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say, just don't have a drink. If you know you're driving anytime soon, don't have a drink. And that appears to be sound advice. I'm wondering, going forward, as the push continues for a zero limit, whether we're going to end up with a situation where we're all going to have to go down to Halfords or even Boots or wherever it is and buy our own little mini kit to test ourselves before we get into a car.
That is a possibility, and I know that they already have that in place in certain countries such as France. But even then, I would still be very sceptical about using those devices because a lot of the time people don't tend to realise that after you've finished consuming alcohol, the level of alcohol is actually still rising in your system. So whilst you might blow into your at-home breathalyzer kit and it might tell you that you're fine to drive, if you're then subsequently pulled over 10 or 20 minutes later, you may be over the limit, and it would be no defence to say that, my breathalyzer at home told me that I was fine.
Yeah, they do say about, this may sound a little bit ridiculous, but things like trifles and things like that, if there's alcohol in a trifle, could that register on a breathalyzer?
It depends, to be honest with you. Most trifles wouldn't affect the breathalyzer even too much, but you have to be really careful about at-home made trifles, for example. And I know particularly over the Christmas period, Christmas puddings can have a huge amount of alcohol in them. In fact, some of I think there was one a few years ago that would technically put you over the limit if you consumed the whole pudding to yourself. So it's really important to check the alcohol content of anything that you're eating or indeed drinking, and also to be very, very wary of anything that's homemade.
Alison, good to speak to you. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. That's Alison.